Alright, one last Ash Waste video. So in this video I'm going to go over how I painted my Ash Waste Nomads. So first I primed them in black, then I hit them with an oak brown, which is Army Painter, and then I hit them from the bottom with a crimson color, and then I hit them from the top with a zenithal tan. Now the way this ends up is they end up initially looking like this, all right, which is not bad for a good, for a start. So it gives you kind of a dark shadow with a little bit of crimson in there, just a little bit of that dark red, and then from the top you can see the tan color. So that kind of adds you have your shadows, you have your mid-tone, which is that crimson color, and then you have the highlights, which is the tan color. So going through all of that, it gives you an initial, look for all of these things. And I did the bugs the same way. So I did the same, black prime, dark brown, like a chocolate kind of a brown almost, and then the crimson from the bottom, and then from the top the zenithal. The crimson you can only just barely see if you look at it. Now here, as you can see, I'm getting ready to dry brush with a cheap makeup brush, and what I'm using is a yellowish white, almost like a pale sand color, which nobody around me carries pale sand, so I just had to find the equivalent from Army Painter, and that's what I'm using. And what I'm doing is sort of a light all over dry brush to bring out those highlights, and that's what I'm doing for all of these models here. So after the highlight, this is what they look like. And as you can see, I've already taken some, what I'm doing is thinning down some contrast paint. So I'm using a 2-to-1 ratio of contrast to contrast medium to thin down all of these colors. So I used Black Templar for the weapons and the masks, and then I went back and did the various greens. I did the camo shade, Gorgrunta fur, snakebite leather, and just a few other miscellaneous colors. And then I used a dark crimson for the eyes, and then a light red for a dot in the middle of the eye. I washed all of these in Agrax Earthshade, along with doing a couple of miscellaneous colors like the tanks and whatnot, painting them just a flat out red. The bugs I washed in Agrax, and then I washed again once the Agrax was done. I washed the whole model. On the bugs, I used a Grelin Badlands because that's what I had at the time, and then I went out later and got some Grelin Earth for the Nomads themselves, and that's what I used on the basis for these guys. The tufts are just regular mountain tufts from the Army Painter, and the sump sludge that's on some of these is just Elmer's Cosmic Glue. Now you will have to, if you use the Elmer's Cosmic Glue for sump sludge, you will have to use just a little bit of water as you kind of squeeze it out of the tube, because it is very, very thick. It's a very thick glue. But as you can see, it dries in that kind of dark green, blue, black, sparkly color that I think it looks pretty good. I'm actually overall quite happy with the way these guys turned out. I love the models. I love how they look, even with those, the the sail they have there on their backs. Obviously, that's used for cover and camouflage and or keeping the sun off of your back as well. These models are really neat, and I don't think I've ever wanted to jump on a set of models and finish them so quickly before these guys. Doing the Zenithal Prime and the Zenithal, like the highlight on these guys, saved me a ton of time. So that's how I did them. That's how I painted my Ash Waste Nomads. So if you enjoyed what you've seen, if you like anything, can use anything, feel free to like and subscribe. Hit the bell button, and if you would like, join me on Patreon and Discord. Thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching.